Hello YouTube. I know I did a video this morning earlier today, but this topic was heavy on my mind and I was like, I just need to talk about it because I wish somebody would tell me when I was in my 20s what type of females and women to stay away from. But unfortunately with life, we have to go through our own experiences. There was nothing that my mother could prepare me for because she never had friends. So she wasn't able to tell me stay away from this type of female, stay away from that type of female. Oftentimes, we get told to stay away from certain types of men, right? Well, stay away from this man if he's no good, but sometimes your friends is no good. And I'm gonna get into that right now. So I'm gonna break it down to, it's much more than 3, but I like the number 3, so I'm gonna keep it at 3. And I know people, attention spans is short and stuff, so I'm gonna keep it at 3. So the 3 different types of women, and I'm talking to my fellas too, but sometimes women are narcissists as well, and I'm gonna tell y'all exactly the 3 different types of women. And I wish somebody would tell me this. And I'm happy I'm raising a son to, when he's dating and stuff like that, for the red flags, because no one warned me in friendships. Like I said, we live in a society where women are praised and worshipped, but nobody guesses, oh yeah, they could be narcissistic too, or they could be bullies too. We just always look at the men, Number 1, the number 1 woman you should stay away from is a jealous woman. Jealousy comes in different forms. How do you know if somebody's jealous of you, Crystal? You could feel it, like naturally, you could really feel it. Also, if you tell other people the scenario and situations and they tell you the same thing. An example of jealousy, but not limited to, if you're a woman who keeps yourself up, you get your nails done, you get your hair done, you wear makeup, you're a average woman, right? Like most of us, we like to look cute, but you have an associate or a friend that's just a plain Jane, and then all of a sudden you start to notice she's copying your style. Now, if it's high school, I'm talking to my young ladies too. If it's high school, maybe she just looks up to you, but you have to know the difference. Now, maybe she's looking up to you, maybe. But if it's like she says little things to you to put you down, like, oh, that's too much red you got on. Oh, you wear too much makeup. And then the next thing you know, she's wearing makeup. Or she might put you down for wearing contacts. Why are you wearing blue contacts? You want to look like a white woman? Then the next thing you know, she wearing blue contacts. She's jealous. Another sign of jealousy is she don't get dudes. And what's an example of that? If she's always single and it's not by choice. Now, most of us are single by choice, right? We've been in relationships. We break up with the man. Or men ask us to be in relationships and we say no thank you. That's single by choice. But if you're friends with a woman and she's just single because nobody want her, you have to keep your distance because she could be secretly jealous of you. Or if you have an unhappily married woman, because married women could be jealous too. And I went through that. And when a person's unhappy within themselves, they're not going to be happy for you. An example of an unhappily married woman, if she keeps talking shit about her mate, and or you tell her about a guy that you met, you haven't said nothing negative, and she's just like, oh, you shouldn't be seeing him because of XYZ, and it's like, why is you hating? You haven't even met this dude. That's a sign of jealousy. Also, you have men that could be jealous too, but we already know about that. But you have to pay attention to these women that are jealous because they could actually cause harm to you. There's too many women that are missing today and dead because of jealous women. It's really scary. So if I could warn my ladies out there, beware of the jealous females. The second type of female you should avoid is the gossiper. Now, I'm not talking about somebody that just casually talks about people. I'm talking about the woman who she constantly talking about people that she knows and that she doesn't know. Oh, this one wearing a short skirt. Oh, this one, it's like nobody could do nothing right. You have to avoid a type of woman like that, because she's also a hater. Also a woman like that, you could tell her something. There was this one girl I was cool with very briefly. I told y'all about She Crazy. I was like, she was like low-key a stalker in my opinion, because she gonna say, oh, you back on Instagram? I'm like, yeah. I was like, how did you know? She's like, because I see the green dot. What? The fuck? Green dot? Like, why are you? I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And I think she was talking about Facebook, or I didn't even know nothing about a green dot. Like, that's how much I'm not on social media. She's like, oh, I knew you was on it because I seen the green dot. And she was like, oh, you posted up pictures for your birthday. And I'm like, no, I didn't. And then I remembered I posted it on my short story. But for her to peep that is like, why is you stalking me? Like, why is you on my, like, that's just weird to me. But anyway, I told her I don't really like being on Instagram because dudes be in my DM, and no matter how many dudes I block, it's like they come out like roaches. They constantly come in. She gonna say, oh, they scammers. I'm like, I think I know the difference between a scammer and somebody who's trying to holler. Not just because I'm 35, but I consider myself a fairly attractive woman. So obviously they see my picture and they want to holler. So why is that hard to believe? She was gaslighting me, saying, oh, they trying to gaslight you. What are you talking about? But that's a sign of a jealous woman. That's a sign, because she's like, because she said it. She's like, nobody's in my DMs. Why are you telling me this? And you have to be careful of that. Like, let's say if, I don't know, something like, if you go to a coffee shop, some people have like a local coffee shop they go to. And if you go there enough times, they'll give you a free coffee. And then somebody says to you, they ain't never gave me a free coffee. That's signs of jealousy, because why are they saying that, right? Why are they saying that? Doesn't make sense. So yeah, like, I feel like you could feel it, you know. Or if a man hits on you and he was totally out of line, but then they either like dismiss it like it didn't happen, or they put the blame on you, that's signs of jealousy. So a jealous woman, a woman who can't get a man, that's also a jealous woman. Also, number 3, I would say, is a woman with no class. A woman who doesn't carry herself well in public is never a good woman. I'm gonna repeat that again. A woman who doesn't respect herself in public can never be a good woman to herself or her family or friends around her. As a woman, right? My mother taught me this, and just in general common sense. You represent your family. Now the man, he represents his family too. But you as a woman, when you represent your children, you represent your man. Even if you don't have a man at the moment, you represent your parents. When people look at a woman and she's acting up in public, the first thing that enters their mind is she was raised right. Both her mom must be a hoe, because look at the way she's acting, you know. So that's another woman to stay away from. If you going out and she's unnecessarily loud, now sometimes you might have to get loud because people will take advantage of you. But if she's like unnecessarily loud, she's just acting a damn fool in public, you have to stay away from her, because eventually she's gonna make you look bad. There was a girl that I met in 2011. Very brief friendship. Like, she was just a bully, and I wasn't going to tolerate that. So we met like July 2011, and by Christmas time of that same year, I was done with her. So what is that, like 6 months? I was done with her. Like, I was young. I was very young. I was like 22 when I met her, but I was done. Like, you're not gonna sit here and bully me on social media and to my face and think that we could just go on as friends. It's not going down. But she was embarrassing in public. You know, she was very ghetto, and her other friends that she introduced me to agreed with me. And I was on the phone with one of her friends. She's like, yeah, I agree with you. She said how they went out to dinner and this bitch wore flip-flops and a head tie. Back then they didn't have bonnets, but they had a head tie. I said, that's what I'm talking about. She's like, oh, well, yeah, I told her about herself, XYZ. I said, girl, you know that when you walking down the street with her, they're not going to say, because her thing was, I said, well, why do you continue to hang out with her? I'm not even hating on y'all, but it's like, I can't be around somebody like that. Like that, even back then when I was 22, like, I can't be seen with somebody like that in public because she's embarrassing. Like, literally, she's ghetto, she's embarrassing. Ill. That's the only word I could use to describe her. Ill. You know, she was the type of woman that no man wanted. And that's not, if you know that you're a desirable woman, that men want you, you can't be around females that men don't want. You know, and I'm learning that as I get older. Like, when you're young, you don't really think about stuff like that, but you cannot be around women like that because they're going to be jealous of you, right? So she was very jealous of me. So we was out clubbing, and she says it right to my face. She's like, oh, you think you cute? I'm like, no, I know I'm cute. That's exactly how I said it to her. Like, who says that to somebody? Like, you think you cute? You're basically telling me that you're jealous of me. And I've actually had a family member tell me that years ago. I was telling her about my son fought the family and they help out and stuff. She's like, oh, I'm jealous of you. Really? You jealous of that? That's bare minimum. That's basic shit. Like, you should never say that. You should be like, I'm happy for you, Crystal. I'm happy you don't have to struggle like me, right? So jealous women, you have to steer away from. You really do. And it's hard because, you know, especially if y'all have a good rapport with each other, a good relationship overall, but you could feel the jealousy. You could feel when someone's jealous of you. Even mothers and daughters, a lot of our mothers is jealous of us. And they'll say it to our face. They won't say, I'm jealous of you, but they'll say, yeah, I always wanted to do that. I always wanted to. Like, the truth will come out as you get older, how really jealous they were of you. But you have to stand clear, just like you stand clear of the closing doors. Doom, doom. Stand clear of the jealous bitches. Like, stand clear of the bitches with no class. Because once you have class, you know. And I had another old coworker who, when I look back on it, and I knew it back then, and I remember telling my ex, because he knew her, because basically, I met my ex through my old coworker. That was his brother, and he knows my other old coworker, and he even said it. Like, when we met, we were all talking. She pulls out pictures of her old self when she was slim, so that was like a clear. And I didn't even like pay attention to that, but he was like, yo, she totally was trying to compete with you in that moment. And it's like, nobody gives a shit that you was slim 20 years ago. Like, he's like, yo, what was she trying to do? I didn't even peep that. Like, I didn't even, because at the end of the day, I've never felt the need to compete with another woman, so I don't know what that feels like. But yeah, like, my ex pointed that out. Like, yeah, she's totally like in competition with you because nobody was paying her no mind. And then she pulls out her phone with pictures of her old self when she was slim. Like, nobody cares. you know, like, and it was just like other little signs. And I do keep my distance from her. Like, if I see her once a year, I'm okay. Like, I'm okay with that, because it was just so much going on. She was like a sloppy drunk, and I'm like, I'm getting old. I'm getting too old for this shit. She older than me, but I can't be around somebody who can't hold their liquor, and people are pointing and laughing at her. Then she want to force me to drink and smoke. Bitch, I don't drink Hennessy. What is, like, that's so annoying. Like, you want me to be like you so badly. No. You know, you got to stay. And that's why they say, like, big women, not all big women have low self-esteem. But you do have some that do, and you have to stay away from them. Like, for real, it's a serious thing, because all they're going to do is drain you. All they're going to do is try to make you like them. All they're going to do is just, and I think that was her objective. Like, she tried to turn me into her, and it's not going to work, because I'm a very strong-minded person. Like, I never understand alcoholics who, they try to sit there and try to make somebody drink. Like, I never understood that. Not all alcoholics are like that. But you have people that their whole mission is to try to make you an alcoholic. And it's when you don't want to drink, it's like, then bitch, why you around me? Like, you know. So, yeah, so those are the 3 type of women to stay away from. Stay away from sloppy bitches. Stay away from bitches who can't look good in public. And it sounds shallow, but I'm not saying stay away from the plain Janes, but if you have a friend who she just looks a hot mess every time y'all go out, you have to stay away from her, because naturally you're going to get the attention, and eventually it's going to upset her. So it's kind of best to just kind of stay away from her, because her insecurity eventually will show up. Eventually it's going to, well, why Crystal keep getting attention and the dudes and whatever, and you know, eventually it's gonna fuck with them. So use your discretion, ladies. I'm talking to my young ladies. I'm talking to my older ladies. I think most women that's my age and older, you kind of know what type of females to stay away from. I'm gonna add a bonus to this also. Number 4, stay away from women who don't have drive. What do I mean by that? There's nothing wrong with hanging out with someone who's a stay-at-home mom, but understand that some women, and I'm not all, some women who are stay-at-home housewives, they're not housewives by choice. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. A lot of housewives are not housewives by choice. It happened because they got laid off. They can't keep a job because of lack of childcare. Normally, it's a reason why they become housewives. And you now, that's a working mother or a working woman, and you graduate in college, you getting certifications, you getting your license, you doing all these things, and she's not doing it, she might be jealous. So also be aware of those type of women as well. Now, I could truly say, I have friends that are very encouraging, and they are not jealous of my success because they got bachelor's, master's. So me getting my bachelor's is like, okay, join the club. But you might have somebody that don't have nothing going for themselves past a high school diploma, and once they start lying, you need to start to separate yourself. Again, this might be hard because you have a connection, you have a love for this person. But once a person starts lying about their accomplishments, you have to exit left. You have to start keeping your distance from them, because once somebody starts lying about their accomplishments, that means they are in competition with you. It's a fact. Nobody should ever lie to you about school. Nobody ever should have to lie to you about, I had one girl that I met, and it was actually at my cousin's party, and we were talking about her the other day, and I was like, she was a beautiful girl, educated, whatever, and she says she had her master's, and I actually seen it on her Facebook, so she was telling the truth, and everything like that. but she lied about having an apartment and a job. We can't continue a friendship and you lied about something so basic, something so, and then my cousin was like, oh, she lied because you have an apartment and a job. I'm like, I don't care. Like any friendship, relationship, or anything that starts off with a lie, how are we gonna proceed? How are we gonna, like, damn, you didn't even let the friendship get to 9 or 10 months or a year before you start lying. You start lying as soon as we meet. I don't want nothing to do with you. But she was the type of chick that she wasn't a stay-at-home mom. She was just staying home, which is even worse. Because stay-at-home mom, that shit is work. You know what I'm saying? I've been home for the summer, and boy, oh boy, it's been busy. Not just job hunting, but you got to do all the cleaning. You got to do all the cooking. Like, my son don't really cook no more, so I got to do all the cooking. We get takeout here and there, but I cook, I clean, I wash dishes, I take out the trash. He does the dishes sometimes, but most of the time I do that shit. It's work. Wash out the tub, mop, sweep, clean his room because he don't want to do it. It's work. So I can't imagine somebody who's just home with their mama. It's like, nah, I could not fuck with her. Sadly, she got raped, and I don't know if it's true or not. And I did feel bad because I'm like, damn. But she lied so much. I'm a horrible person to lie to. I really am. If you lie to me, like, I either block you or keep my distance, because I tell people that, I try to tell people that from the gate. You cannot lie to me, because I have a really scary, like, my memory is so sharp, it's scary. Like, I remember shit from kindergarten. I remember shit from second grade. I remember shit from my 20s. I remember shit that don't even make sense that I remember it. Like, I remember conversations. I remember overhearing things. And when people be like, da 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 da, I'm like, no, that's not what you said. And I have such a sharp, like, my memory is like a computer. It's scary. I remember dates. I remember times, location. Like, no one could ever lie to me, because, like, my friend used to have a little, she used to tease me and call me Mavis Beacon, because literally, like that's how my brain is. I can recite everything. It's scary. Like, they be like, damn, how you remember that? I'm like, because you said it. So, like, yeah. But those are the 3.5 women to stay away from. Fellas, same thing. A lot of y'all say y'all want to be providers, but you have to understand, a woman that doesn't have her own goals and dreams, all she gonna do is drain you. Those of y'all who are Tyler Perry fans, to my fellas, I don't know if y'all watched Why Did I Get Married? It's a very good play in a movie, because it shows some men are so shallow that they leave a good woman for a good looking woman, and she couldn't bring nothing to the table. All she was doing was spending his credit cards. And she's like, in the play, the movie, the girl was very nice. But in the play, I feel like the play is better, because she's like, what you want me to do? Get a job? He was like, yes, I think you should. You just running up all my credit cards. But you should have known that before you married her. And then in the movie with Jill Scott, she's like, you left your 20 for your one. Like, yeah, she's pretty, but what could she do for you? In the play, it's more explained of, she was like, I balanced that checkbook. I made sure that your residuals was coming into the business. I made sure that you got paid correctly. He had a smart wife. Was she the best looking? But no. But she kept money in his pockets. And the one he left her for took money out. So to my fellas, make sure you get with a smart woman. If you get with a woman that's lazy and doesn't want to work, all she gonna do is drain you and send you right to the poorhouse. I'm telling you right now. So if you chasing a woman because, oh, she's so pretty, da da da, nothing wrong with a woman that's being pretty, but make sure she has the whole package. There's plenty of us out here that have the whole package. Don't settle for some chick that's dumb. Because if you get you a dumb chick, you're going to end up in the po house. For real, for real. Even if your woman is not working, she should be helping you save money. Period. Period. Just like in Everybody Hates Chris. I don't know if y'all watched that show. The mother wasn't working, but she was the person delegating the bills. She was making sure everything was getting paid. She was making sure of everything. She aligned everything where it was supposed to, and everything stayed afloat because of her. You know, if a woman's not working, fine, but she should be able to contribute something to the household beside her vagina and her cooking skills. Because you could cook for yourself, you can clean for yourself, but you need that brain to say, hey babe, we can't afford to take this trip this year because we're behind in the mortgage. We can't afford to take the kids to Hershey Park this month because we need to pay up on this car note. You need that type of woman to regulate and to be real with you in the finances. Period. Right? So beware, my ladies and my fellas. Those are my thoughts.